During the Italian occupation, we went to Azinara.
This house.
Oh, this house. Oh.
But I don't want to give away the secret.
I was the first grandchild of Hakim Workneh.
How old were you when you went to prison?
My wife didn't expect me to have more. Then she stopped that time. የፊታውራሪ ኢማኙ ልጅ ነኝ።
አቤት ደስ ሲል። Good afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa with your host Fitawrari Imangu. Yet again, we come to you with another amazing guest, and we have actually come to his house to have a conversation with him, and we say thank you very much for having us in your humble home.
Thank you.
Could you please tell us your name and a little bit about who Ababa Fakada is?
My name is Fakada Selassie. My father's name is Imangu. የፊታውራሪ ኢማኙ ልጅ ነኝ።
አቤት ደስ ሲል። For people that don't know who your dad is, who is your dad?
He was administrator in Agar Gizat, and he's got due to that he's in charge of government's office.
So he gave birth to you. Your mother is?
ወይዘሮ አስቴር ወርቅነህ, የሐኪም ወርቅነህ's daughter, and the first was ወይዘሮ አስቴር, and next to ወይዘሮ Elsie is next to her.
Okay, so he had 5 girls.
Yes.
Okay, so one of them happens to be your mom, Mama
The first one.
The first of the daughters was your mother. So she gave birth to you. So obviously she was married to your father. She gave birth to you. And then what happened?
During the Italian occupation,
Yes.
we went to Azinara, and with all Rasumuru and the big delegates from Ethiopia, and they
Imprisoned you?
yes, I was the family imprisoned because I was the first grandchild of Hakim Workneh.
So how old were you when you went to prison?
3 years old.
3 years old. Wow.
Yes.
So you were there with Mami Tuluqa. Was
Yes.
Mama Aster also taken?
Yes.
So Mama Aster?
All the sisters.
All of them were there?
All the sisters.
Okay, now this Azinara prison is in Italy.
Yes, an island. And then when they found out there are too many ladies and so on, so they took us to the main country of Italy,
Okay.
called Longobuco. And we were there. All the women were there.
Okay, so you were with the women.
Yes.
Okay, so you were in prison for how many years?
I think about 2 years on the mainland.
Okay.
And were very happy there because it's not prison.
Exactly. And you had a friend there you met?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah. What happened after you came back?
After I came back, my mommy, grandmother, was a Rokatala work. She lives in Shola. Now it's a school. At that time, we went there happy, even though the Italians occupied the country.
Yeah.
And then I was the only living grandchild there with my grandmother.
Right.
So after a year, my grandfather came. He was the ambassador in London, and he came after 4 years to Ethiopia. And then I went from my grandmother and my mother, all the family, His Excellency Dr. Workneh Eshete.
While you guys were in Italy, while all the women were in Italy, Hakim Workneh was in London as an ambassador.
Yes.
Okay.
And His Majesty was in England.
So then they came back, you came out of prison, and then what happened?
After that, my aunts, they started getting married.
When you came back from Italy, you were living with Mami Tuluqa.
Yes.
Yes? So at what age did you go to school?
I went from Mami Tuluqa to Dr. Workneh. And then I lived with him for certain years.
Okay.
And then I went to the elementary school, to Tafari Makonnen School. It was the only elementary and the only high school.
Was it a boarding school?
Yes, yes. Oh, that's where His Majesty found out that any little boy was adash. He took them back and made them with us.
Oh, so they put him in the
boarding
school. Okay. So Tafari Makonnen, how long were you there?
From third year to sixth year.
Okay.
And then boarding school.
Yeah.
There was no elsewhere.
Okay.
And then it was the high school was in Haile Selassie boarding school in Kotavi.
Okay.
So I went there and I took 4 years to elementary and then to high school, and everybody, every student was actually of no class. weren't everybody was equal. And there I started with 8th grade up to 12th grade. I finished the high school. From there on, I went to college.
Here?
Yes, college. And University College was art school. It wasn't engineering school. So few of us wanted to study engineering, and they took us and they put us in technical school where the high school was.
In Kotabe?
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't have an engineering.
No.
No. So they started by you, basically.
Yes.
Can we say that?
It was starting one by one and one every time.
So every year they add one thing. Every
Yes.
year one thing adds up. How did you want to become an engineer?
The engineering started in technical school.
Okay.
Because the director of the high school, he started...
Technical college?
Yeah.
So he's the one that started that?
Yes.
Okay.
So we went there and we, about 50 students,
Wow.
and get our degree.
So after you did all of that, the reason why I'm even going through all of this journey is to come to this house.
Oh, this house. Oh.
So the house that we are actually sitting in, you actually had something to do with it. But I don't want to give away the secret. I want you to tell us the story behind this beautiful house that you ended up building.
This house is about 60 years old.
Yeah.
Years passed to get this building because Addis Ababa was very small, and this part was rather countryside. But across the road, Mami Tuluqa, she gave us land to get married.
Yeah.
Then this, I started, all this is countryside. We designed this house. And the next one next to me was your father and mother, and you were born around here.
Yes, I was. Yeah, beautiful. When I grew up in this neighborhood. You know, you talking about back when you got the land. That means it was total forest around here.
Yes.
Because after you built yours, and then my mom came and built above you,
yes.
There was just the two of you. Other than that, there was nothing in this neighborhood.
Nothing.
There was nothing. It was
completely
all forest.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I started this house, and it was how many years after? It's this house is 60 years old.
How long did it take you to build this house?
2 years.
2 years.
I got married and I had my children here.
I love your house. I love the design. And it's quite interesting to know that you had this amazing idea 60 years ago. And the way it was built is what actually makes it more special. Unlike all the other tukuls that we're all used to, even though it has that feeling.
Yes, I had all the time that feeling from the countryside, from the little tukuls with the grass roof. And then I started thinking that I am an engineer first of all.
Exactly.
How many years working. My house should be round roof, and then I started building.
So you have 3 children?
I have 3 children, 1 girl and 2 boys. But my wife didn't expect me to have more. Then she stopped that.
She stopped. But while we're talking about all this, I'm going to take you back a little bit, because one thing that was, me and you actually had this discussion the last time we talked. And we were talking about Hakim Workneh, the house that he had in Piazza.
Yes.
Which longer exists. That house, you see, I've read so many things about him trying to abolish slavery. And a lot of the people that he took out, he started educating them, because he was very big in education.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that side, that story?
The history of us at that time, the students, we didn't have any parents, parents with us, with me. But a lot of them didn't have parents because they are from countryside.
Gotcha.
And they were there, and we were, you could not different from the countryside and the city side. He came from being ambassador. He came back, and the Italians kept him away from being Hakim Workneh. And then he was in his house in Piazza with his, he was very, very sorry.
You had told me once before that in the Piazza house, because it was a big area, that right outside of the house there was like a little, maybe it's a room as opposed to a school, where he actually educated the people that were taken out of slavery.
He started the people out of slavery before Italian time. And then he started very highly with existing schools at that time, with the elementary schools, and went from 3rd to 6th grade, and then started high school, 8 to 12. At that time, it's not that much of slavery, because it's after Italian occupation.
So then you started living, you built your house, you had your kids. During this time, we're talking about Haile Selassie regime, right?
Yes.
So what else did you do outside of engineering? Because as an engineer, who did you work for?
The first one I worked with Ministry of Education.
Okay.
Because they designed high schools after equation of Ethiopia. There weren't any schools at that time.
Okay.
It was His Majesty started elementary school and high school. Then we went to high school to Haile Selassie Secondary School.
Those were built already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was, and then how many years passed working, building these schools in the country. I didn't like that. When I joined to telecommunication, we built little schools in every other corner. And then I continued to telecommunication, and it continued with the elementary school, high school, and the
colleges. You did very good. You built our schools.
Yes, I started going around the country in every school, telecommunication. In where telecommunication is, I built the little houses, the bigger houses, and for example in Mekelle, it was a big house. In Addis, the same, of course. I started with Addis. And then everything was continued.
Beautiful.
It was around, and I continued working during running around the country, building design. My design was in small telecommunications everywhere and making that building.
Mama Aster, your mother. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about Mama Aster?
Really don't know that much, because from the Italian occupation, we were all there, the sisters, the uncles I had at that time. They were killed by the Italians.
Yes, two of them.
And she was the eldest.
Mama Aster, after your dad, she married somebody else.
Yes. I lived with my grandmother, Mami Tadlukwa, and then to daddy,
yes,
Hakim Workneh, very short time. And at that time, my father was imprisoned in Azinara with Rasam Muru. And then she married another person out of Bafakado, and then she had children from there.
Yes.
6 children.
So now I'm going to come to you, because while you were working, at some point you discovered Taekwondo.
Oh, oh, Taekwondo.
I can't say how old were you, because you had already had your children.
Children, yes.
Yeah. But I remember you, and I think it was at the AU, now OAU, that they were giving that class.
Yes.
And that you used to go and do Taekwondo. And you actually went up to black belt, correct?
There was no black belt at that time.
Okay.
Because when they started, we continued to have about 2 years. And then the next year, it was 3 years. The third year, it started coming specialized Taekwondo. And I was very enthusiastic about Taekwondo, and I joined there. It was with a degree of black belt, not black belt, continued third year of black belt. Nice. And it was discussed because AU started, it was in an AU group.
You remember houses. When?
Oh, I had my children at that time.
Yeah, I know. This was during the Derg.
The Derg?
Yeah. This was during Mengistu Haile Mariam.
Yeah, it was at that time.
Yeah.
Taekwondo, and we were very happy.
You loved it.
Thinking that we are expert in taekwondo. It was 61, 62.
Well, Ababaye, we have come to the end of our discussion. So I would like to say thank you very much for inviting us to your home and letting us pick your brain. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with you. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ababaye. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa with your host, Grandchild of Ethiopia. Thank you again.